So I've got a trusty old mower today and it's struggling on idle. It's hunting and cuts out every now and again when I'm trying to change the grass basket, empty the basket out. So I'm suspecting that the carburettor's got a bit of dirt in the idle jet. So let's try and clean it out and see how we get on.
I'll just show you what it sounds like and how the engine's actually idling.
See on idle, it's chugging down. So as soon as we take the air filter off, it makes the mixture runs a lot leaner and it's just stalling again. She's really struggling on idle. So let's have a look. Have a look in the carburettor and see if we can see why it's doing that. The air cleaner's nice and clean. There's not a lot of muck going on there. Okay, let's have a look then.
So we've got three 10mm mounting bolts holding this air filter retaining bracket on. There's the big one that goes through the top there, that's a bolt, and then we've got two nuts that are actually holding the carburettor on as well. So we've got to get those out of the way to see what we're doing. Once we've took these out, the carburettor does become loose on its body, and there's two spacers through this plastic retainer, so we've just got to be careful we don't lose them as well. As we draw this air cleaner mounting off, you've got these two spacers that run over the studs. You've got to pull those away, and then behind that there's this washer shim that's got nice rubber gaskets on it, so we'll get that out of the way as well.
So now we can see the jets within the carburettor there. You've got the little idle jet on the side. Got the main jet is down the bottom. So I'm going to take off I'll switch the fuel off to start with because we don't want fuel whizzing everywhere. But you can also slide the whole thing off now if we wish to have a good look inside it. It's got a lot of debris around it, so we're going to give it a good clean.
I'll get the carb cleaner on the case. I just hold it all in place before I do pull it right off. There's a lot of grass, dust and just bits of rubbish round the back of the carburettor there, and I don't want to pull it off and get all that debris inside the carb, so I'll just clean it down before I actually take it off. First thing I'm going to take off is the spring and the bar for the throttle. You just pull the throttle all the way open and just pop the bar and spring off.
So when we're removing that, we slide that, pull that hose back so we can slide this off. It's a bit tight, but there's enough there to get it off. And then we can pull that link out of there.
Now it's off, we can see into the venturi. On the left hand side we've got the slow running jet, and we'll blow that out, and on the right side we've got the vent for the float chamber. And again, we'll take the bottom off and we'll give it a really good clean and blow it all out. Make sure we've got no bits of debris and dirt in there. We'll pop this 10mm nut out at the bottom of the float chamber and pop it off, and that'll enable us to blow the main jet out. Make sure we've got it all nice and clean.
That's tight. Just slip it back on there to get a purchase on it with a spanner.
The reason I've not took the fuel hose off the carburettor is it's behind the tap, so I'd have to drain the fuel tank down as well. So just to save having to do that, I'll leave the pipe connected. I know it makes this bit a little bit more awkward, but it's worth it for me. So now we've cracked that float chamber mount off, we can whiz it all the way out. Just be careful not to damage the fibre washer. Just whiz that out of there nice and gently, don't lose it, and then I can pop that float chamber off the bottom, just being again careful not to damage the rubber seal.
Just a tiny bit of debris in the bottom there, not a lot. Doesn't take much though to upset it with a bit of grit.
So I've given it a good wipe round. We've got most of that debris out. It's a bit stuck, some of it. We'll get the carb cleaner in there. Now I'm going to use the compressed air to blow the jets out. If you've not got an airline, then you can just continue with the carb cleaner, shoving that in the holes and squirting it in and blowing the jets out with the compression of the carb cleaner. It doesn't do as good a job as the airline, but it will suffice, it will work. Now this is the important one. This is the main jet that sucks up from the bottom of the float chamber. We'll give that a good blowout.
This is going to be difficult. Because straight away it looks like the carb cleaner's reacted with this O-ring and made it swell slightly, so now it's just a bit, it's gone a bit baggy. We should be able to get it back into its hole though. Okay, there we go. And we'll get this back on.
So we locate the float chamber back on the top and we get the nut. Just got to make sure that the fibre washer is intact and in good condition before we whack it up. So I'll just nip it up in my hand and then I'll slide it back onto its locating pins just so I can do it up nice and tight, because it is quite hard in your hand trying to hold it and do it up all at the same time. So let's just slide that back onto its mountings and just nip it up. It's a little bit fiddly, all this. We'll get it on there, here we go. Just lock that up nice and tight. Don't overdo it though, because it is only a 10mm bolt. I don't want to crack the aluminium. Bingo. Right, so let's just pull that off and then we can put the choke bar back in again to its locator. Slip that in. Again, it's a bit fiddly, it's all a bit tight, but it will go. And slide it back on again.
And then with this throttle, to put that back in, we get the link rod, we feed that round and pop it in, and then feed that spring through the little hole. And there we go, and nicely back in again. Gaskets nice and clear. We'll slide that back in again. If your mower's been stood around all winter, there's a little drain bung on the bottom of this tank here, on the bottom of the float chamber. And if you want to drain down the residue of fuel that's in the carburettor, you just pop that nut out of there and it will get rid of any dirty fuel that's in there and then just put it back in again. Okay, so now we've got that off there. Let's get this back on. Pop the spacers back in. Nuts back on. Mounting bolt back in the top. make sure everything's located properly. And nip them up. That's all up nicely. We'll turn the fuel back on again so we can fill the carburettor up. Just checking everything's moving and working as it should. Okay, we'll pop the air filter back on for now, and then we'll just try it and see if we've got any results. And there we have it. So the old mower's all cleaned up, the carb's nice and clean. We've cleaned that little idle jet out and it's running like a dream. It's idling like it should, revving nicely. Ready for the new season. We'll get that grass cut down and get it nice and striped up. If that's been of any help to you, any use, drop me a comment, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.